will chant from verse number 6 together. राहुग्रस्त दिवाकरेन्दु सदृशो माया समाच्छादनात् सन्मात्रकरणोपसंहरणतो यो भूत्सुषुप्तः पुमान् प्रागस्वप्समिति प्रबोधसमये यः प्रत्यभिज्ञायते तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बाल्यादिष्वपि जाग्रदादिषु तथा सर्वास्वस्थास्वपि व्यवृत्तास्वनुवर्तमानम् अहमित्यन्तस्फुरन्तं सदा स्वात्मानं प्रकटीकरोति भजतां यो मुद्रया भद्रया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये. So namaskar to Shri Dakshinamurti, who is the teacher who reveals the supreme truth about our own self through Chinmudra and through other teaching. And that self is that which remains same in all the three periods of time and in all the three states of experience, in all the different stages of our life. That self remains same, always shining as aham, aham, aham. Vyavrutta svanuvartamanam aham iti antaspurantam sada. This constant, the spuran of aham is there. And that self exists even when one goes to sleep. So the self is there, shining, illumining that state of sleep also. Hence when we wake up, we recognize this self as same as was in that state of sleep. So the ultimate aim, goal is to recognize ourselves as we are, to hold on to this aham spuranam, the I which is shining. One has to focus one's attention on that aham spuranam and recognize that pure self. But because of the influence of Maya, one constantly come under the sway of Maya and experiences the anatma and experiences this world and experiences duality. So that power of that Maya and how it makes us experience the duality is being presented in the next verse, verse number 8. Vishvam pashyati karyakaranataya स्वस्वामि संबंधतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वाय एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये विश्वं पश्यति कार्यकारणतया स्वस्वामि सम्बन्धतः शिष्याचार्यतया तथैव पितृपुत्राध्यात्मना भेदतः स्वप्ने जागृति वा य एष पुरुषो माया परिभ्रामितः तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये। हाँ, तस्मै श्री गुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्री दक्षिणामूर्तये। Dakshinamurti Bhagwan reveals that supreme truth to the one who is deluded by this Maya. And this Purusha, this self, when deluded by Maya, sees differences, sees multiplicity. So, Purusha Maya Paribhramitaha, overpowered, totally overpowered by Maya, this Purusha sees Bheda, sees differences, sees duality in this world. So, as I said, that there is only one supreme reality which appears like many because of this, and that appearance itself is called Maya. This appearance, the cause as well as that appearance, is called Maya. Maya means the Yamasa Maya, that which is really not there but seems to be there. And it is that which creates the sense of limitation. Ma means to measure. So that which creates measurement as though in that which is infinite, in that which is limitless. So if we see the world, if we experience duality, then we say it is Maya. And when one comes to recognize that supreme truth, then there is no duality, there is no Maya. So from the standpoint of ignorance, or from the standpoint of the world, we say Maya is. From the standpoint of reality, there is no such thing called Maya. Just as when we look at the sun, we are facing the sun, then there is no shadow. But when we face away from the sun, then we see a shadow. So this Maya overpowers this Purusha, this Atma, in the Jagrat as well as the Swapna Avastha. In Sushupti Avastha, we are totally overpowered by Maya and the Tamogun, and one doesn't see any duality there. But in Jagrat and Swapna, one experiences sense of duality. So Vishwam Pashyati, one sees this whole Vishwa in the form of this duality, Karya Karanataya. The whole world is seen in the form of cause and effect also. So when we experience the world, we experience space, we experience time, we experience object, we experience events happening. So when we experience time, then we feel that the present is caused by the past. That is the notion. Because when we experience time, so the present moment we infer that must be caused by the past. So the concept of cause and effect is also created in our mind. We infer this concept of cause and effect. Really speaking, that cause and effect is also relative. Not our relative, but it is relative. Because concept of cause and effect is only with respect to the world. It is not an absolute concept. For example, in the world, father and son, we say father is the cause, son is the effect. Or father was existing before, then came the son. Right? Father was existing before, then came the son. And this is true in the waking state, this statement seems very true. But suppose you are dreaming, and in your dream you are there and your father is there. Again somebody asks you, you will say, my father was before and then I was born. But the fact is, both your father and you were born at the same time. The dream was created at the same time. All the things of the dream were simultaneously projected. Not that first father came and then he got married and his child was born and you were born. The entire dream was just presented together. Then within the dream, we create the concept of cause and effect, something before, something afterwards, etc. So that is seeing from the standpoint of the dream. But seeing from the standpoint of waking, there is no such thing called cause and effect. Similarly, this whole cause and effect which we see, karya karana, in this world, that the seed is the cause and the tree is the effect, all these are also relative and they are seen because of the influence of Maya, which creates the illusion of time, and space, etc. So within the world and within this Maya, it may have its own utility, but that is also created by this great delusion called Maya. So Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. Out of this delusion of Maya, one looks at this Vishwa as Karya and Karan, as cause and effect. Therefore, we seek liberation also in the form of cause and effect. We try to find what is the cause and then we try to find some solution for it. So everything is measured in terms of cause and effect. But this Atma, the pure self, is beyond cause and beyond effect also. It is neither the cause of anything nor is it an effect of anything. In Kathopanishad also, Nachiketa asked that question to Yamraji, कि अन्यत्र धर्मात् अन्यत्र अधर्मात् अन्यत्र कृतात् अकृतात् अन्यत्र भूताच्च भव्याच्च यो तत् पश्यति तद्वद. That please tell me about that which is different from dharma and adharma, which is different from past and present, which is different from the cause and effect. Please reveal that supreme truth to me. But because of the influence of Maya, one sees cause and effect. So Vishwam Pashyati Karya Karanataya. And then various relationships are seen in this world like Swa and Swami Sambandhataha, like I and my master. So we have this relation that I am the sevak and I have a master. Or the relationship like Shishya and Acharya, the teacher, the student and the teacher. So someone becomes the student and someone becomes the teacher. Yeah. It's like a painting. You take, you are a painter, you take some colors, you put it on that, whatever it is called. What is? On your hand when you palette. So on that palette you keep all those different colors and then you paint it on the canvas. So you have pressed and removed some paint, red color, green color, blue color, yellow color, you have removed on that palette and you have that brush. Now you dip it in that yellow color and you just make something on that, some structure or something. Then you put that same color and make a human being also. With the same color you make a buffalo also. Different colors, not yellow. Yellow buffalo will look very funny. So the color remaining same, like it is like you are the big boss, Ishvara, color remaining same. Sometimes you create animate object, sometimes create inanimate object. Sometimes you create a lower being, sometimes a higher being. Sometimes you create a master and a servant also with the same color. So from the standpoint of the color purely, there are no differences. But if you look at that painting, you see all those differences. Similarly, from the standpoint of the self, there are no divisions. When you come to recognize yourself as the pure Satchidananda Atma, there is no difference between you and anybody, because that Atma alone is there. But from the standpoint of the body, there are differences of Sevak and Master, of Shishya and Guru, etc. So Shishyacharyataya tatha eva pitru putradi atmana bhedataha, or like the Pita and Putra, like father and son. So father and son. So two fathers and two sons are there. Total how many? 4. But really total are 3 only. Total is 3. But it appears as though there are 4. So 2 fathers are there and 2 sons are there. So the son, his father and grandfather. So this concept of father, son, is that all this relationship are projected from the standpoint of the body, from the standpoint of mind, intellect, matter. It is all these relationships are there in matter, not in the essence. Essence is same. You take the same material, same rock, and build a temple, and with the same rock you build that image of Bhagwan, and with the same rock you build steps also. So people walk on that step, then they go to that temple and do namaskar to that image. One can as well do namaskar to the steps also. Some people do, because it is material is same. The material with which the image is made and the material with which the step is made is same. So what you are doing namaskar to is an image, not to the material. But here we have to recognize the material, not the image. All the relationships are there in the images which is created in the field of Maya or Prakriti. But in essence, there is no division. So Shishyacharyataya tatha eva pitru putradi atmana bhedataha. These are all bheda of the self. In the self, the whole Vishwa is presented in the self only, and we see this division. When Swapne Jagrati, in Swapna Avastha also and in Jagrat Avastha also. Va esha purushaha maya paribhramitaha. And why we see this division? Because of our delusion created by Maya. So once one becomes free of this Maya, one will not see any divisions, differences. See, one goes into that state of Turiya and experiences that oneness. But even when one has experienced that Turiya Avastha and again experiences the waking, will not see any division. A realized master, a Jivan Mukta, doesn't see any division in this world. He sees his own self everywhere. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavihastini Shunicheva Shvapakecha Pandita Samadarshinaha. A Pandit, a realized master, is Samadarshi. Samadarshi sees the same truth everywhere. All the divisions are only outward. He has developed a vision to see inside, to see oneness. Like Bhagwan says, I am like the sutra in a garland. So lots of different flowers are there of different colors and shape. but all of them are brought together through that thread. So one who sees the thread will see that thread everywhere in all the flowers. So similarly, a realized master sees that oneness, but because of delusion, one sees this division. So teacher is one who reveals that knowledge and removes this delusion and makes us recognize and realize that Atma in its pure nature. So Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye. So thus this beautiful teaching is given through these various shlokas, and as our Pujya Gurudev has written, in these 8 verses the main teaching is presented very beautifully to the highest seeker who can understand, appreciate this teaching in its pure form. But those who are not ready for it, see, as I said, the highest teaching is in silence. Then the teacher also teaches in sign language. Sign language means through Chinmudra or through the Mahavakyas. But if one is not ready, then the defect is not ready means the defect is only in our mind. We can't comprehend this vast, this unimaginable fact of our own self. It becomes too much for us to comprehend it. Somebody telling you that you are that infinite Brahma, just after some time we stop listening also. Because it is too vast and too unimaginable to even say, believe or accept that I am that Brahma. So why? Because our mind has been involved in little things for a long time. For example, a beggar who is begging right from his childhood, not only begging from his childhood, but his whole generation were professional beggars. His father was a great beggar. His grandfather was a very good beggar. So like that, they are from the begging tradition. Suddenly a person is told that you are not a beggar, but you have lots of money in Swiss bank. Now don't ask how it is there. But suppose he is told that you are super rich. That person, first of all, can't even, that concept cannot come. He will feel his life will get destroyed, because if I get so much money, then where should I beg then? Because his thinking is only in terms of begging. So it will become very difficult for that person to comprehend that I am not a beggar, but I am a king, let us say. I am a king. It will not sink in. That person will continue to dream of begging only. His habits will be of a beggar. His thoughts will be of a beggar. His behavior be of a beggar. He might be wearing that dress because suddenly he became rich and all, but his dress sense and everything, you will, looking at him, you will feel that he is a beggar only. Similarly, we as Jiva, we have been living like a Jiva for many lifetimes. Nobody has told us before this that you are Brahman. If we were told and if we had listened carefully, then we wouldn't have taken this birth. So for many lifetimes we have lived as a Jiva, considering ourselves as limited, and suddenly one fine morning somebody tells you that you are Brahman. It becomes too much to comprehend. So in order to make our mind prepare for it, to understand that I am Brahma, The preparation is you imagine that you are Brahma. Preparation to understand that you are Brahma is to imagine that you are Brahma. That system of imagination is called Upasana. Upasana involves imagination, superimposing the idea of divinity on everything. Superimposing the idea of divinity on ordinary objects and all is what is called Upasana. So it involves imagination, and it involves devotion and surrender and faith and all those things. So this Upasana prepares our mind for comprehending that Supreme. For example, those who want to go to the moon, I don't think anybody is here who wants to go to the moon, but those astronauts who are selected for the yatra to the moon, before just, they are not that you selected and then they are told, okay, Sunday 6 baje flight will take off, be ready. Not like that, 3 घंटे पहले आ जाना, not like that. They have to undergo lot of training, because it's zero gravity, all sorts of things. So for months together, that body has to be trained to get accustomed to zero gravity. Zero gravity is water and all you can drink and it remain hanging only. It doesn't fall down, it doesn't go up. You also remain floating. No gravity. No gravity means you don't fall. There is no falling down and there is no rising up also. So you remain at one place. If you want to turn the screw also, that instead of that thing getting turned, you turn. So it's very funny. I have not experienced it, but I can imagine. That imagination is called Upasana. So they have to get accustomed to it, and once their body is tuned to it, then they are ready to take the flight. Similarly, our mind, our intellect, our body should be accustomed to this great knowledge that you are Brahma. That tuning of the body, mind, intellect, when we do it, that is called Upasana. Upasana is a very beautiful technique which our great Rishi Munis have revealed, and that helps us to prepare for this knowledge. So in the following verse, Bhagwan reveals that Upasana, and in the last verse he also gives the Falashruti of this knowledge. So let us chant the 9th verse. Bhurambhasya nalo nilombaramahar Natho himamshu puman Ityabhati characharatmakamidam Yasyeva murtyashtakam Nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrushatam Yasmat parasmad vibhoho Tasmai Shri Guru Murtaye Namaidam Shri Dakshina Murtaye Bhurambhasya nalo nilombaramahar Natho himanshu puman Ityabhati characharatmakamidam Yasmat parasmat vibhoho So भास्य नलो नीलोम्बरमहर नाथो हिमांशु पुमान इति आभाति चराचरात्मकम इदम यस्यैव मूर्तेष्टकम. This Puman, the Supreme Self, the Purusha, the Supreme Self alone, Abhati Characharatmakam idam yasyeva murtyashtakam, alone appears in the form of this world. See, this world is the outer appearance of that Supreme, means the Supreme is hidden in this world itself. Again, to go back to that example of the mother hiding behind that blanket. So the blanket is the outer form of the mother only. The mother is hiding inside that blanket. Similarly, the God is hiding as though behind this world. Or in other words, this world is the body of God, body of that Supreme Reality. Just as we have our own body in which we are there. We are not the body, but body belongs to me, or it is my own expression, outer expression. I am that unmanifest and formless entity, and this body is my outer expression, which has got a form, which has got a name. Similarly, that Supreme Reality expresses as this world. This world is the Murti of Bhagwan. We create other Murtis in our temples and all. That is just a replica of this big one. See, when you go to Taj Mahal or when you go to some other this type of places, outside they sell little Taj Mahals. People go there, buy it and come and give it to their wife or something. आपके लिए मैं ताज महल बनाया. So that Taj Mahal is a replica of the Taj Mahal, not the original. Original is different. Similarly, the Murti which we have in the temple is only a replica of this entire cosmos, of this huge cosmos which we see is the Murti of Bhagwan. Those who cannot worship this, then they have to worship that little Taj Mahal. So this is the vast Murti of God. Murti Ashtakam it is called, Murtyashtakam. It has got 8 forms or 8-fold, 8 facets you can say. This Murti of Bhagwan has got 8 facets. And what are the 8 facets? The 5 elements. Bhuhu, that is earth. Ambhansi, water. Analaha, fire. Anilaha, air. And Ambara. Ambara is space. Then Aharnatha. Aharnatha means the sun. The sun is also part of this cosmos, and sun actually represents all the stars, all the luminaries, and moon which represents all the planets and all the satellites, everything. Himamshu. Himamshu is sun, moon. And Puman. Puman means all beings. All beings are also part of that cosmic form of God. This is the cosmic form of God. All of us are part of Bhagwan's form. Nothing in this world is apart from Bhagwan's form. In fact, we are living and moving in Bhagwan's form only. We are the Murti, part of the Murti. We means the body. The body, the mind is part of Bhagwan's Murti, our body. So this is the Murti Ashtakam. We have seen this mentioned in Upadesar also. What you call that? Jagata Ishadhi Yukta Sevanam Ashtamurti Bhrut Deva Pujanam. There Bhagwan was talking about Deva Puja. So worshipping this murti itself is called puja. So bhuram bhasya nalo nilom baramahar natho himamshu puman. And the beauty of this murti is nobody can break it also. It will exist. As long as the world is there, murti is there. Other murtis can be broken, but this murti will remain permanently. As long as this world itself is the murti. So iti abhati, thus it shines forth, this puman, characharatmakamidam, this entire cosmos, which is chara and achara, which is sentient and insentient, which is moving and non-moving. So all this is yasya eva murti ashtakam. This is his ashtakam murti. And nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrushatam yasmat parasmat vibhoho. And one who contemplates on this, one who contemplates and reflects, he doesn't see anything other than that Supreme Lord, that Supreme Reality, Yasmat Parasmat Vibhoho. Other than that Supreme, greater than that Supreme, nothing else is seen in this world by the one who contemplates on this Ashtadha, what you call Murtyashtakam. So what it means is that a sincere seeker as a upasana should look at this whole world as the cosmic form of my own Supreme Self. This world is the cosmic form of your own self, the Supreme Self, not the ego. Or we have to just look at the whole world as pervaded by that Supreme Divinity only. So to superimpose the idea of divinity on this entire world, to imagine the entire world as the expression of that Supreme Reality alone. So when we do this, our mind gets as though expanded. Through this imagination, our mind expands. So we should look at this whole world as the cosmic form of God. Just as Arjuna looked at the cosmic form in 11th chapter, it was described, the cosmic form is there presented in front of us at all times. So when we continue to do this upasana, looking at the entire cosmos, cosmos is not just earth, earth is a tiny little portion, a small little planet. If you go very far away, you can't even see the earth. Very small planet in our solar system. There are other giant planets are there. In front of it, the earth will look like a bacha only. If the earth goes in front of Jupiter and all, Jupiter will say, kahan se bacha aa gaya, isko गोद में ले लो. Jupiter is a huge planet. Jupiter, Saturn and all those things are giant planets. Saturn and all has got such fantastic rings around it. It looks like a king. So, but this solar system itself, which is rotating around that sun itself is a very tiny little star in our Milky Way. There are millions and billions of stars are there in our Milky Way. Some 400 billion stars are there in our Milky Way. And Milky Way is one galaxy. There are billions of galaxies in our cosmos. There are billions of galaxies are there. Billions. Some of the stars which we see in the sky, they are actually galaxies. If you focus your telescope there, you might suddenly see millions of stars. So there are billions of galaxies are there. So the world is so vast that you can't even imagine, our mind cannot imagine the vastness of this cosmos. it can't even imagine the the tiniest thing also. Our body itself is made up of trillions of cells. Trillions of cells are there. And just imagine one cell as a cosmos, as one galaxy, and in that cell there is tiny little sun and planet, and you are there in the cell. You will not even imagine that there is a person to whom belongs this cell. Similarly, this entire cosmos is a body of that Supreme Purusha. It's so vast that our intellect fails to comprehend that enormosity of this whole thing. But when we practice our sadhana by imagining the vastness of Bhagwan's form, of that pure supreme reality, then what happens? Our mind starts becoming more and more subtle and more pure. When we come to know that whole cosmos is divine, our mind becomes pure. So this is the upasana. Nanyat kinchana vidyate vimrushatam yasmat parasmat vibhoho. So one who vimrushatam, those who contemplate on this, that God is Ashtamurti Bhrut, one who contemplates, then slowly that person doesn't see anything other than that Supreme. As our upasana becomes more and more deep, then we will be able to see that divinity everywhere. Siya Rama Mai Sab Jagajani Karahu Pranam Jori Jugapani. And when we see divinity everywhere, we express our gratitude also towards that divinity in the form of namaskar. So we do namaskar to the sun, to the moon, to the planet, to the mountain, to the rivers, to birds, animals. Everywhere that same divinity is there. So we do namaskar to everyone and everything. So this helps the mind to become pure. It helps us to free ourselves from our hold on that which is limited. Just as in if our chaddar and all, when it becomes too soggy and all, we keep it out in the sun. Then it gets heated up, all that moisture gets evaporated, it becomes fresh again. Similarly, when we expose our mind to this vastness of this cosmos as divine, all these moistures of attachment, it gets evaporated. Mind becomes fresh, ready to comprehend the Supreme. So that is the purpose of this upasana. So that first step is prepare the mind through upasana, and then you will be able to comprehend the truth revealed in this stotra, in this stuti. So after upasana, what should I do in order to gain the knowledge which is revealed in this Dakshinamurti Stotram that is now said in the last verse? Sarvatmattvamiti sputi krutamidam yasmadamusminstave tenasya shravanat tadarthamananat dhyanat cha sankirtanat sarvatmatva mahavibhuti sahitam syadishwaratvam swataha siddhetat punarashtadha parinatancha. ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम् सर्वात्मत्वमिति स्फुटीकृतमिदं यस्मादमुस्मिंस्तवे तेनास्य श्रवणात् तदर्थमननात् ध्यानात् च संकीर्तनात् सर्वात्मत्वमहाविभूतिसहितं स्यादीश्वरत्वं स्वतः सिद्धे तत्पुनरष्टधा परिणतं च ऐश्वर्यमव्याहतम्. So in this Tavanam, in this Stuti of Sri Dakshinamurti, what is revealed, what is the main theme which is revealed? The main theme is our own self, and that everything is self alone. Sarvatmatvam iti sputikritamidam yasmad amusminstave. Sarvatmatvam. That the self in me is the self in all. That everything is self alone. That is the meaning of Sarvatma. That the self in me is the self in all. And really speaking, everything is self alone. So in all these verses, through various examples and various ways, the teacher has revealed the nature of that self. So in the first verse we saw that everything exists in the self as a reflection in a mirror. Then the self alone as Ishvara projects this world. Bijasyanta rivankuru jagadidam pragnirvikalpam punaha. Then the self alone is the teacher who reveals this knowledge. Self alone is like knowledge which expresses through our senses, through our mind, etc. Self alone is there, present in all our states of experience. It alone is there in Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti, in Balavastha and all. Self alone is there, which when deluded expresses as all these divisions in this world. So in the various ways the greatness of the self was revealed, and in the previous verse we saw that self alone is expressing as this Murteshtakam, this Ashtamurti. So that Sarvatmatvam of this self is Sputikritamidam, is very clearly expounded. Yasmad Amus means Tave, in this Tavanam. Very clearly it is expounded. So what should we do? He says, Tena asya shravanat tadartha mananat dhyanat cha sankirtanat. We have to listen to this Shravan. Then tadartha mananam. Tadartha mananat. We have to contemplate on the meaning of this. Contemplate on the meaning and understand what is said. Understand it. It should not just remain as a theory, but it should be comprehended and understood very well. Because it is being said to us, it should not just be some theory. So one has to contemplate over what is being said. That's called reflection, contemplation. And dhyanacha, then we have to meditate on it. So Shravan, Manan and Dhyan or Nididhyasan. So listen to this Stavanam, then reflect over the meaning of the Stavanam and meditate on what you have understood. Meditate on your own self. Meditate on the self. Meditate means focus, bring your attention on your own self. Be as your own self. Meditation is being your own self, real self. Be as you are, not as you think you are, not as you imagine you are, but be as you are. That is called dhyana. And in order to help us in Shravan, Manan, Niridhyasan, what we should do with this Tavanam is Sankirtanam, constantly chant it, constantly sing it, so that it remains with you and you hear it, you contemplate on it and meditate on it and sing it. Sankirtan, Sankirtan means sing this beautiful Stavanam. So this steps of Shravan, Manan, Niridhyasan is very important. So through Shravan we come to know what is the main teaching. The main teaching is you are that Brahma, you are Brahma. That is the main teaching of all the scriptures. You are Brahma and you have to recognize yourself as Brahma. That is the main thing. The scriptures are not interested to send you to Swarga or to other lokas and all. They have better things to do. Our goal is not Swarga. Our goal is not, our ultimate goal is not to go to this loka, that loka. It's not to gain some siddhis or something, but to recognize ourselves as we are. In the state of, that is the state of enlightenment. And this recognition of the self happens in the Turiya Avastha, in meditation. We have to recognize ourselves as we are. All of us, we experience only the three states, Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. And Sushupti itself is like death, and again we are born, and again Jagrat, Swapna, Sushupti. But we have to experience the fourth one. When we experience the fourth, we will be able to recognize ourselves as we are. Dhyana avastita tadgatena manasa pashyantiyam yoginaha. When a yogi's mind goes into dhyana avastha, he recognizes, he sees his own self. So that is the main teaching that we have to understand through Shravan. Then we have to contemplate upon it, because what is the objection to this, that I am Brahma? Objection is that I am a human being, I am a man, I am a woman, I am a son of this person, I am daughter, I am wife, I am children, I am this, I am that. Whatever you consider yourself to be are all creating objections to that knowledge that you are Brahma. Because Brahma is neither son nor daughter nor wife. Brahma is neither young nor old. Brahma is neither man or woman. Brahma is neither Hindu or Muslim or Isai. Brahma is free from all these divisions, are only in the body, with respect to the body. All these divisions are not there. So our mind will keep on objecting to this knowledge that I am Brahma. Our intellect will object. It will say, I am not Brahma, I am this. We want to maintain our little identity and also have Brahma. I am Sharmaji and I am also Brahma. Acha. Means we want to maintain our own little identity. और ब्रह्मा भी अगर हो जाए तो सोने में सुहागा टाइप. But that is not possible. You have to drop all the little identities, then only that infinite. It's like a little room. We have to drop all this, go beyond the walls to experience that infinity. Infinite, that space in which cosmoses exist, in which these galaxies exist. If you want to comprehend, you have to go out of your room. No, I want to remain in my room and imagine that all this is existing. So you will be reducing all the galaxies in your room. तो छोटे छोटे पेंटिंग लगा सकते हैं आप, but only when you go out of your room and look up, you will see the vastness of sky. Similarly, we have to go out of our body, out of body experience. Go out of your body and recognize yourself as that infinite self. It is more infinite than space. It is vaster than space. Even this vast space is like a tiny little portion in that cosmic self. That self is so vast, infinite, that even space appears small in front of it. So mananam, we have to contemplate and comprehend this, and then meditate on that I am that Brahma. It's called dhyana. And in order to facilitate the Shravan Manan Nididhyasan, we can do Sankirtan. You by heart these shlokas and chant it, so that you don't depend on books. That is the beauty. You don't have to depend on book, on your notes and all those things. Wherever you are, you can contemplate. But if we don't by heart and all, English translation cannot bring out the beauty of the Sanskrit. That much must be very clear to you. If I read the translation only, I don't know what they are telling. Only when you read the Sanskrit, you come to know. Translation that beauty doesn't come. It is totally very, very helpless, this translation. And the knowledge, all this is Atma, has been explained in this hymn and so, and by hearing and this and that, becomes difficult to comprehend. So Sanskrit mein aap, and simple meaning, sarva is there in our, all these words are there in our other language also, in Hindi and other language. So Shravanat, Tadartha Mananat, Dhyanat cha Sankirtanat, Sarvatmatvam Mahavibhuti Sahitam Syad Ishwaratvam Swatah Siddhet. And when we do this Shravan Manan Nididhyasan, then what will happen? You will recognize your Aishwarya, you will recognize your lordliness, you will recognize the vastness and the magnanimity of your own self. Aishwaryam, Ishwaratvam, your own Ishwaratvam. Your identity with Ishvara will be recognized. You are not a Jiva, you are Ishvara, you are one with that Supreme. And what is that? Sarvatmatvam, that you are the Sarvatma, you are the Atma of all beings. You are the self of all beings. Sarvatmatvam, Mahavibhuti Sahitam, and you are endowed with great glory, Vibhuti, glories, infinite glories belong to you. In Gita also Bhagwan talks about Vibhuti. They are not Bhagwan. Bhagwan is not different from us. He says, you are my Atma. Aham Atma Gudha Kesha Sarva Bhuta Shayastitah. I am your own self. This is your glory. You and I are not different. Yes. These are your glory. Just like the father sometimes shows the son, ये देखो ये हमारा ये बंगला है, गाड़ी है, ये है, वो है, ये सब आपका है. Similarly, in Gita, Bhagwan showed Arjuna that all the sun, moon, stars, this, that, I pervade everything, and you are also me. I and you are not different. Pandavanam Dhananjaya. Among Pandavas, I am Dhananjaya. So one will experience one's own lordliness with all the glories. Sarvatmatvam Mahavibhuti Sahitam Syad Ishwaratvam Swatah. Swataham by itself. Sahaj, when we do Shravan Manan Nididhyasam, automatically as a result of this, one will experience one's own Ishwaratvam, one's own supreme self, which is vast, which is unimaginable, which is most wonderful. that self will be experienced. We are now locked up in this little body. One will experience oneself as this vast cosmos. So choice is yours, either remain as a little body or experience yourself as this complete cosmos. It's like I am there and I think I am this body. Suppose I start thinking that I am one cell. Just imagine that I start thinking that I am a cell on that little finger. But instead of that, I can immediately experience myself as this entire body. So you can experience yourself as this entire cosmos, the whole cosmos, everything is your vibhuti. Your real nature is that supreme Satchid Ananda Brahma. So Sarvatmatva Mahavibhuti Sahitam Syad Ishwaratvam Swatah, by itself. Siddhet will be attained. Punaha, again, Ashtadha Parinatancha Aishwaryam Abhyahatam. Even the Ashtadha, what you call Siddhis, Ashta Siddhis. Siddhetat Punara Ashtadha Parinatan. The eightfold Siddhis which are mentioned, that also will be experienced. Our literature mentioned 8 Siddhis, divine powers, because if one identifies with that supreme divinity, then that power of that supreme divinity will also be there. And what are the powers? Anima, Mahima, Laghima, Garima, Prapti, Prakamya, Ishitva, Vashitva. Power to become small. Small means power to pervade even the smallest little thing of this world. Even a tiny little ant or tiny little cell also you can pervade. And Mahima, at the same time you can pervade the entire cosmos. Laghima, you can become as light as feather. And Garima, you can become as heavy as a mountain. Prapti, with wherever you want to go, one can just go there within seconds. Suppose you want to see what is happening in Swargalok now, you can just go there. Indra Bhagwan will not stop you. Indra Bhagwan stops Trishanku, but you will not be stopped. Then Prakamya, one can attain whatever one wants, whatever, even if some desire comes, one can fulfill any desire. Ishitva, one can attain lordship over the entire cosmos. And Vashitva means one can control any beings of this world. Any being can be controlled. These are just siddhis which are accompanied with that self-knowledge. One need not use them, but they are just part of the accomplishment. They are like the extra things. If you buy something, they give something extra. Right? In the good old days, they used to go, now also they give. So one person, somebody went to his house and he saw that his whole drawing room was very nicely decorated with a beautiful wallpaper. Wonderful wallpaper. So it's very nice. Your whole room looks so beautiful with this wallpaper. From where did you get this wallpaper? He said it is free. It was free on one packet of Surfer. It comes free. Very beautiful. Free wallpapers you got. Then he said, what is there in that other room? He said, it is filled with surf. वहाँ पर हम जा नहीं सकते, पूरा सर्फ से भरा हुआ. So, with the self-knowledge, these Ashta Siddhis are free. They are like wallpaper. freely available. So sarvatma siddhet tat punah ashtadha parinatancha aishwaryam avyahatam, and all glories can be obtained, divine glories, aishwarya, all divine glories can be obtained avyahatam, without any obstacles, without any obstructions. Easily one will be able to attain all glories. Mainly we will be able to attain our own self. We will be able to abide in our own self. At present we are like tourists. We are touring the world and remaining in different hotels like. So this body is like a dharamshala hotel. इस जगत में इस बॉडी में रहो, देखो दूसरे, अगेन वी टेक बर्थ, remain in another body, but our own home is this infinity, and this entire infinite world is our body, just outer expression. Amar vah desh vah jahan te ayo. So that desh from where we have come is amar, is supreme, is infinite, immortal. So that one will be able to comprehend when one does Shravan, Manan and Dhyan on this Stavanam. So thus concludes this beautiful stotra, Shri Dakshinamurti Stotram. So iti Srimad Bhagavad Pada Kritam Shri Dakshinamurti Stotram Sampurnam. Now we will meditate for some time and absorb whatever we have learned, and then we'll conclude. And next, then Yajna will have from 1st of June. So that is the last of this series, Journey Within. So we started with Upadesh Sar, then we have studied Tattvabodh, Drigdrishya Vivek, and this Dakshinamurti Stotram, and then we will study Saddarshanam. So Saddarshanam will help us to go still within. I mean, we are now within only, but those who are left behind, they can also then reach that goal by following the guidance by Bhagwan Ramana Maharshi. So now we will sit, meditate, and conclude with a prayer. And tomorrow, you please, all of you, come and see Pujya Gurudev speaking on some portion of Bhagavad Gita. Close your eyes, bring your attention in the present moment. Let your mind stop all its wanderings. Let it come in the present moment. With your eyes closed, imagine yourself not as a limited body, imagine yourself as this vast cosmos. You as that pure self expresses as this vast cosmos. The entire, not only the space within your body, but the entire space is your body. The vast space with millions and billions of galaxies is your body. The air surrounding this earth, the air elsewhere also is part of your body. The fire which exists everywhere is your body. The waters, not only of earth and all the oceans, but of the entire cosmos is your body. And the earth or all matter in the entire cosmos is your body. The sun and all the stars, part of your body. The moon and all the planets and satellites is your body. And all the beings of this world and the entire cosmos is part of your body. And you are that pure self, pure existence, consciousness, bliss. You are the support of this cosmos. You are the support of your body and the witness of your body. So be as you are, not as you imagine yourself to be wrongly due to Maya, but actually as you are.